Well, hello there, and welcome to my weekly AMA, where you have the opportunity to ask me questions about digital marketing, our digital marketing program, online business, and my journey so far, and what you might be able to expect. I mean, it's kind of hard to answer any questions about what to expect because the journey is going to be different for every single person. So, all I can really share about that is some of the experiences that members in our community have had and experiences that I have had. But at the moment, while I wait to see if anybody joins me for this live this week, I'm going to just chat a bit about intuition, because this has been something that I have been kind of engaging with more strongly, I guess, over the last little bit. And for most of my life, I never really had any awareness of it, actually. But the thing with intuition is it's something that we all have. We may not think we have it, but we do. It's that inner wisdom, that inner guidance that is within us. But many of us have completely forgotten that. Like we probably engaged with our intuition and made choices on our intuition when we were children, when we were very young, because it's just natural. It's just a natural part of us. But many of us have been taught how that it's not something you can rely on. It's not really real. It's misleading and not trustworthy and all of these things, and that we're supposed to rely on logic. We're supposed to rely on science. We're supposed to rely on our past experiences as our guide on any decisions, any choices that we choose to make. And while these can assist us, it can also cause us to miss so many different opportunities, so many, I guess, just ways of being, and can cause us to end up having unfulfilled lives. And I have lived most of my life this way. Maybe most of you have too. But I've been really honing in and working with trying to recognize my intuition. Sometimes it can be confusing because our ego can try to pretend like it's intuition and can end up leading us in the wrong direction. And it can be tricky to be able to recognize when it's actually intuition or ego. But from what I understand of the difference is that ego is like shouting at you, do this, do this. It's like, kind of very in your face and creating lots of energy, and you can feel a lot of strong emotion around it. That's my understanding of it. Whereas intuition tends to be much more subtle and quiet. And because we have this tendency to be so busy in our lives, we're always doing, we don't often give ourselves that opportunity to be still and quiet enough to be able to really tune in. And this is something I still feel challenged with because it's habit. It really is just habit to be constantly doing, because our society values always being involved in something, achievements and accomplishments and all of these different things as a measure of success. And so many of us will feel like, oh, we're being lazy if we're not doing something. And even with the idea of meditation, some of you might say, oh, well, I meditate once a day or whatever for, 10 to 15 minutes or whatever it is, which is great, but that meditation can also end up being a doing. It's like, I've got to do this meditation every day. I've got to do it in this way. I've got to make sure I quiet my mind and not allow any thoughts to come in. And, we've got all of these ideas that come in that are connected with doing. And I believe that meditation, and this is based on what Eckhart Tolle shares, is that it's about being. It's about being still. So it doesn't have to be done in any specific way. It just simply means allowing yourself to be quiet and just observing whatever shows up. So maybe you are observing what you are seeing. You're observing what you are hearing. You observe the thoughts that show up, but you don't attach to them. You don't try to push them away. You just simply don't attach to them. And if you do end up becoming attached to them, then having that awareness of that and bringing yourself back to that stillness again. And even with any emotions or sensations that show up, like it could be physical sensations or different emotions and feelings, that if you see those show up during your times of stillness, that again, you just don't attach to them, you just observe them. And, many of us still get attached to them, but it's still just bringing yourself, as soon as you realize that you've become attached, bringing yourself back to that stillness. And being able to do this helps us to be able to more greatly connect with our intuition. And I have been discovering different ways of connecting with it. And it's not just being in stillness, but it's also being, I think the stillness is helping me become aware of guidance that I am receiving. Inner guidance that I receive through my dreams, or some of the animals that cross my path will represent certain ideas that really resonate with me, that it's like, oh yeah, like for example, I had some magpies that came and landed on my balcony railing. And this was not usual behavior for them. I usually see them in front of my apartment building on the ground or in the trees or something, but landing on my balcony railing was unusual. And that caught my attention. It was like, oh, well, that's interesting. So I looked up to see what magpies represented. And one of the things that stood out for me was balance. That there's a connection with that. And I was like, oh, yeah, I do need to improve the balance in my life and in different areas of my life so that I can feel healthier, more connected, more in flow, and all of that type of thing. So, and then there's patterns as well that I see show up as well, that they keep kind of they represent certain messages, and that message kind of repeats. And it's, it's all about resonating. It's like, okay, well, does this message actually resonate with me? Does it feel true for my life? And it's still all about connecting with your gut feeling, or with your heart, or however you want to say, your intuition is engaging with you. And I wanted to bring this up because I think this is also a very important part of business. It's not just in our personal life, it's part of our entire life. And when we can connect with our intuition in business, we can have things go so much smoother, so much more easily, because we will stop focusing on doing just for the sake of doing because we think we're supposed to do something, and rather take actions that are guided. We feel called to do a certain action, and it's something that's actually going to move our business forward. There's no percentage in being busy all the time if it's not actually going to do anything for you. Because then ultimately all that happens is you end up getting tired, worn out, maybe feeling like nothing is working, or that things are just too hard, or whatever the thoughts might be. So, this can come into play in so many areas, like with the digital marketing. A big part of that is doing social media posts. And there's a certain amount of guidance that says, oh, well, you should be doing this number of posts a day, and these are kind of suggestions of what your post should be about, kind of to being business related type of thing. But for me, I've been connecting more with that inner guidance of, what do I feel called to share about? And I think that's making a difference. I think that it is allowing me to connect with people and support them in different ways. And that's, for me, that is what is really important, is that I really want to be able to support others in their journey, whether it's their business journey or their life journey, or a combination. It's, that is just the biggest focus for me. I'm trying to think where else to go with this. I thought I would have more to say on this than I do, but okay, well, let's see. There's just a lot of different ways that our intuition can come into play. Like, maybe we have people reach out to us in a comment on our post, or through Messenger, or through email, or something like that. And we can use our inner guidance to get a feeling of, do I really want to engage with this person? Sometimes we might have to test it out a little bit to get maybe more a sense of whether we want to engage with them or not. But when we really are able to tap into our intuition, we are able to get a feeling right away, pretty much, on whether this is somebody that we want to have any kind of a relationship with. And there's definitely been a couple of people that I have come into contact with where I'm just kind of like, I don't know about this person. There's just something about the energy in connection with this person that just feels, I just don't feel certain about them. And that's not to say that they're a bad person necessarily, but that they are somebody who are not in alignment with me. We all have different people who are in alignment with us, because, energy attracts energy. So, but it's the same kind of energy that attracts the same kind of energy generally. And we either want to try to attract, if we're already in a higher energy, we want to attract other people who are in that similar energy, or we want to attract people who are in an even higher energy than we are to help sort of bring us up even higher. So I guess, some of the other areas that the intuitive guidance that I have been receiving has shown up for me is becoming more aware of my thought patterns, or at least the energy that shows up in connection with thoughts. Because I'm not always 100% aware of the actual thoughts that I have, but I am usually aware of how it feels in my body. I can feel that tension, that tightness, or a heaviness, or something like that, if my thought patterns are going into a lower vibrational energy. And so some of the messages that I receive are kind of like, pay attention. You're going in the wrong direction. It's like, this is your opportunity to kind of switch your focus and try to move into a higher energy. Whether that's focusing on what you're grateful for, the blessings you might have in your life, and the beauty that might be around you, different things like that. I had a day a little while ago where I was feeling a lot of heavy energy, and I was trying to, I've been kind of trying to practice acknowledging a daily win of some sort. And I was really struggling that day because I was just like, I just don't feel it. It's like, everything just feels so heavy. And it wasn't like I was sad and depressed or angry, but I was just kind of like, oh. And I just thought, okay, well, what can I think of? And I was like, I remembered looking up to see what different things I could consider as a win, which doesn't have to be an accomplishment per se, or something happening to me specifically that was good or something like that, but that it can also just be simply being able to acknowledge and find appreciation in the things that I already have in my life. And I started realizing it's like, well, okay, let's just go to the very basics. I have my eyesight. My sight is allowing me to see the beauty of nature, to be able to see scampering of squirrels and the playfulness they have that they can engage in, to be able to see the flight of birds, to see different colors. I have my hearing. I can hear the calls and the songs of birds. I can hear the wind through the trees. I can hear beautiful music. I have my taste, which allows me to enjoy a lot of different foods. I have my smell, where I can smell the flowers and I can smell freshly cut grass and the smell after or just before a rain. And I have my touch, where I can feel like soft fabrics and the warmth of the sun or a hot bath. So there's all these different things that I think we take for granted, that we don't realize how blessed we are to actually have them. And I'm just feeling kind of like, oh, like this just as I'm talking about it right now, because it really is just such a blessing. And the more we can do that kind of stuff too, that also helps us to connect with our intuition more. So anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you have any comments or experiences that you would like to share in regards to intuition, I invite you to put them in the comments, and maybe we can support each other in this journey. If you are already involved in a journey like this or are wanting to explore it more. And if you have any questions about digital marketing, the program, or anything like that you want to know more about, you can put those in the comments as well, and I will answer those as they show up. And if you are curious to know more about the program, to find out what is included in the program and everything, then you can put info in the comments, and I will send you information on how to get more information on that. And other than that, I guess that's it for today. And, just remember, I am doing this weekly live every Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. Mountain Time on Facebook. So if you would like to join me for a live in the future, I would love to have that connection and have that engagement and be able to answer your questions live. And we'll talk to you next time.